All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday morning, early morning crypto talk. Bitcoin Brandon from Los Angeles, California. Go ahead and type your name in the chat box where you're listening in from. I am also streaming on YouTube this morning because I am practicing. Oops, let me shut that off. Yeah, I'm practicing to see how my live streaming services work. We are 1 week away from our next 5-day challenge, which I will also be streaming instead of in the Facebook group. For all of the free people who sign up, we're going to be streaming in our YouTube channel for that, for ILCA. If you guys haven't registered for that YouTube channel, you might want to make sure you do that. We'll put that in the email as well out to everybody. So hope everybody had a great Father's Day weekend. Enjoyed yourself. I kind of took the weekend off. Didn't really do much. I did go see Bad Boys 2. I mean, the last Bad Boy, which was actually better than I thought it was going to be. And then last night, we all was watching House of Dragon. So if you guys are into Game of Thrones, you know what I'm talking about. So that was a good show last night. But now it's Monday, and we are in the second half of June. Time to put our heads down, get back to work. We have a lot of things coming up. The relaunch of ILCA, which is ILCA 2.0 in July. Our Facebook 5-day challenge next week. We've got our special promo still going on right now for anybody that wants the courses and you're not a Diamond member. Get access to all the courses at 80% off for $500. And our affiliate program where I'm paying you $100 for every time you sell the course. And we're giving away a free ebook that you're going to have access to as well very, very soon. So let's get into our crypto talk is today, since I've got the Get Fit Mining presentation on right after this. And I'm watching very closely. There seems to be some rumblings in the Nugent world, and there's a lot of fake stuff going on out there. I am not paying attention to anything unless it is actually from an official channel. There's an official Telegram group and there's an official Discord channel, and none of them have said any recent updates. But there are also a lot of fake groups out there sending a lot of fake information that I don't know if it's fake. I cannot verify it. So I'm not touching anything out there. I know a lot of people sending me news about Nugent, but until I see and hear anything official, I'm not paying attention or sweating any of that stuff. There is news on the Vara side. If you have noticed, if you go into the dashboard, there's a lot of upgrades and things that's been taking place. Especially you see this one. You're able to connect your wallet. Why? Well, their lawyers have, the rules and things change all the time. Well, they have now reopened up the United States again. So if you see Yield Hub in your back office, you're going to notice that this is open here. The ability to stake. Right now, I'm only able to stake access keys. In fact, I did not use my other account to do that. Let me do that on both just in case. Let's see, my business, Yield Hub. You'll see access keys and credits. You cannot yield or stake the credits yet, but you can the access keys. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Have them both sitting there. I don't know what all this means yet, but I do know. Well, I got a call from Nick on Saturday, and I'm supposed to have another meeting with him today on some updates. He seems to be very, very excited about what's going on. Greg is coming to the United States for about 6 to 8 weeks. I asked about commissions and when is that taking place. There was some movement. Let me go back to my other one. I got an email saying that payout was happening, yet on my earnings, this happened here. It says a payout on June 12th, but my wallet has not hit anything. He said that he will be addressing that. He said that everybody will be made whole, but he did not give a timetable. There is a lot of movement happening within the game itself. Some partnerships that they said. So until I get more updates, I will let you guys know. But that's all that I know so far. But there's movement happening on here that seems to be in the positive direction, especially on our investments. Our investments being able to yield and earning from the game and the project and the DFG in itself. I mean, they have he told me a lot of the wallets coming out that we don't have to use VPN to get access to, but everything's opening up in the United States. I don't know what that's all going to look like yet, but more, like I said, the more information I get, the more I will share with everybody else. But yeah, the game is already on the stores, app stores. And when I look in the Telegram group for, see, they are very active over in the Telegram group right now with the game development. Nick is talking to everybody. Matthew Ramos is really, I have not played in maybe about a month. I did update the last update, I think last week on my phone, but I didn't play it. I was just looking at it. The game actually looks very good. I'm impressed with the development since the first beta. And we're getting some new news, should be sometime this week when it comes to the what the new forget fit mining. There's a lot happening behind the scenes that I was just made aware of. I can't share it yet. They want to make it all at one time. But that's good news as well, especially with the MQT token, how GFAM, the full experience. I went ahead and bought, and I need to buy some more today. The price is at 0.00185. Where did I buy? I know my buys in here. Oh, somebody bought $600 worth. That was smart. 298,000 tokens. Another $400 buy. Where's mine? I just bought 50 bucks just the other day. Here we go. Yeah, that's mine right there. And then let's see, after I bought, somebody else bought it $50 worth. Then there was a sell-off, buy, sell, sell, sell. So these sells since then, these are small amounts. All right. I hope commission's coming this month, Jacqueline. That's what I'm going to be talking to Nick again about today. I need to know an ETA. There's a difference between this month and by the end of the year. So I need to know what's up. All right. And let's look into some. Oh, well, how many of you guys, again, been playing with Pi? Let me do a test. Hey, Siri. What's the biggest news of the day today?
There's an issue with your Apple Music account. To resolve this, check that your account is up to date in the Settings app.
I don't have an account with Apple Music. No, I said, what is the biggest news in America today?
Here's some news about America.
All right, thank you, Siri. And it just gives me a list. But I said, thank you, Siri. All right, don't get attitude. Now let's look at my pie. Hola, ¿cómo está, Pi? What is the biggest news in America today?
Hola. Estoy bien, gracias. Let me fill you in on some of the top news stories in America today. A recent poll shows that about half of US adults approve of Donald Trump's recent felony conviction, though overall views of him remain stable. President Biden seems to be gaining more global confidence compared to his predecessor, Trump. Lionel Messi could miss up to 6 games with Inter Miami if Argentina advances far in the Copa America tournament, potentially.
Okay, actually, Pi, is there any major crypto news today?
Absolutely, Brandon. Here's some major crypto news today. Crypto markets are slightly subdued following the Federal Reserve's recent hawkish stance on monetary policy. Whoa. Terraform Labs and Do Kwon have reached a $4.5 billion settlement with the SEC over fraud charges related to their crypto activities. Michael Saylor, co-founder of MicroStrategy, has encouraged crypto enthusiasts to think in Bitcoin terms. Apple and Google are being seen as potential key players in driving mainstream adoption of crypto. Bitwise has predicted that crypto and AI will contribute significantly to global GDP growth. Plenty of interesting developments in the crypto world, as you can see.
Gracias, bye.
De nada, Brandon. That's you're welcome in Spanish. It's always a pleasure to keep you updated on the latest crypto news.
All right. So let's see. Your wife got into a fight with Pi. Asked her what size boob she had. Yeah, that's going to be happening. Every time Pi's voice goes on and my wife walks by, she's looking at me with a side eye. It's like, you should talk to me as much as you talk to Pi. Well, who's smarter, you or Pi? Ooh, that's fighting words there. All right. Let's see what's going on in the crypto market cap. Crypto market cap is 2.519 trillion, down 1.7% in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance is still above 51%, but it did drop. It was at 51.5 the other day, 51.3%. Ethereum is at 16.9%. Bitcoin, 65,000. This dropped. It was at 66,000 the other day. So I'm looking at the graph here, this chart. It is called Hey Pi, George, Hey space and then PI. You can download it on an iPhone or Android. They're both are the same. And if you have the same account, you can connect and no matter which phone you're using, it still pulls it up. Like I see it here on my Android, my conversation, even though I was speaking on my iPhone, conversation translates to both, same account. I think that's pretty cool too. I like I was speaking to me in whatever language I start speaking in it in. That's cool. All right. Ethereum is down 1.3%. BNB 1.1. Solana. See this? If I was on the new gen side, you might want to pick up the pace while Ethereum was as high as it was. They lose money if they're going to wait till this thing drops down. BNB is down 1.1%, $600. Solana's down 2.2. Ripple's up though, 5.7. I saw some Ripple news. So Ripple's up 5.7. In fact, it's up across the board. Look at this spike. 2.6 in the hour, 5.7 in the day, 3% on the week. Okay, that's an outlier. Tron as well. Shiba Inu, though, is down red across the board, down 14.7% on the week. Avalanche, Chainlink, Uniswap, Bitcoin Cash, any major outlier? No. Let's come back up here. Trending tokens. Beercoin is back trending. ZK Sync, Andy ETH, largest gainers, DePay, Hoppy, Convex Finance. Best performers, Ripple, Core, Jasmy Coin, Tron, Stellar. Okay. Worst performers, ZK Sync. So this is a brand new token. Looks like a pump and dump. Injective, Brett. Starknet, Notcoin sliding again. Floki, Data Network, BitTorrent, Fetch.ai. Okay, yeah, these are all in the red. Oh, before I go on, there's also a new trend that I am watching in the direct selling space. There's a lot of every time one of these scam type compounding or guaranteeing income percentage projects go down, normally there's always a new one that pops up to take its place, and we start seeing it all over the internet. This time around, I'm seeing a new trend. I've been getting a lot of private invitations to different projects that some are doing the same doggone thing, but they're not advertising it. And it's by invite only, or they'll put a cap on how many people can actually join the program. Some may be legit, some may be scams. But I'm seeing that a lot now. People are ducking and covering. They don't want to be publicly associated or that or have any eyeballs on them and a target on their back. So I'm just watching this closely to see which ones, because a lot of programs never were scams, or some programs. It's just they got too big. And the bigger you get, the more attention you're going to have, and the more open you are for it to fail in those type of programs. There's some that are small, invite only, maybe only 500 to 1,000 people that's in that. It has nothing to do with recruiting. It's all about just investing your money. And those have a lot of success, and they can last 2 to 3 years or more. So I'm seeing that new trend popping up, but I'm also watching who is bringing these things to me as well. That also makes a difference. If I see some of the same characters on a certain project, I know, okay, yeah, I know where this one's going to go as opposed to others. So you guys let me know if you start seeing and hearing trends like that as well. Okay, so in the news, Gary Gensler could literally cost Joe Biden the election, says Mark Cuban. So this been a theme we've been talking about last week. And I still said that this election will not be based on one issue when it comes to crypto, but I think it will help Trump and hurt Joe. But if Joe loses, he's not going to lose because of crypto. I said it before, he's going to lose because of Israel and his own base that is not happy with how he is treating the Israeli Gaza situation. So there's much more than a situation, but conflict. So Joe cannot afford to lose any voters in his base. He is not going to gain voters from the Trump side. That's not going to happen. It doesn't matter what Trump does or says. They are lockstep with him, period. I mean, the man literally stood on stage and said, I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. He was speaking the truth. He wasn't joking. It doesn't matter. He will not lose his support. But Joe, on the other hand, cannot. So then it comes down to the fight is over that middle group, that middle crowd. And how many of that middle crowd is into crypto? How many of that middle crowd is paying attention to politics? Do they even understand what's going on between the two? How many of that middle crowd, which news do they consume? Now, when I was growing up, Americans didn't have a choice as to news sources. Now, and in the 80s, you had in LA, you had channel 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. ABC, NBC, CBS, then Fox and KTLA. That was it. And you had the same news anchors in the evening on the evening news, and it was universal across the country. Today, Oh, there's a million different news sources, and you can pick and choose, and you can make sure that you only listen to that of which you agree with. We don't listen to any conflicting views because it gets too, what's the word? People are too sensitive. You get offended if you hear something that you don't actually agree with, so you flip the channel. So you're never challenged on anything. That's a problem. Imagine your child growing up in life, never being challenged. Their points of view. This is what college is about: learning how to critically think, not just accept what's spoon fed to you as law. And that is a major problem, not just in America, but in the world, where you can have grown ass adults that could spend years and only hear one thing. I think one of the greatest lessons my father taught me, one of the greatest skill sets that I've learned, is a word. First starts off with a word called empathy. And then the second is always know the other side's point of view and try to understand it and put yourself in their shoes, and then be able to explain that point of view better than them. This doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but you better at least understand it, or you're going to sound ignorant. I think, he taught me that. Well, first I heard that, I was in 6th or 7th grade, and I was in my Malcolm X moments type days. But that was one of the greatest skill sets he taught me. No matter how bad or awful you think someone else's point of view is, attempt to understand it. Don't change the channel. Don't change the filter. So I don't agree with this, but I do think that it will hurt. It's not going to help. It's not going to help. So the billionaire investor also intimated that any political aspirations Gensler had would amount to nothing. Oh, yeah, he's done. He's done. His best bet would have been in the Republican Party after he left the SEC. However, he killed that stone, that bridge. He burned that bridge. So now he has to look on the Democrat side, since he's been anti-crypto all this time. The Democrats seem to also be anti-crypto. But the Democrats don't be running Fortune 500 companies like the Republicans do. So he's limited on that side. So billionaire investor and crypto advocate Mark Cuban recently shared his thoughts on the potential for havoc that Gary Gensler's actions as head of the United States SEC could wreak on incumbent U.S. President Joe Biden's bid for re-election. Speaking at Coinbase's State of Crypto Summit, Cuban opined that Gensler could literally cost Joe Biden the election. Well, Joe Biden himself vetoed the bill. Gensler had nothing to do with that, so he did that on his own. Now, it was stupid. Mark Cuban says Gary Gensler could literally cost Joe Biden the election because of all the young voters that own crypto. If he has a political career in mind, he's done. Cuban says of Gensler, that's true. I agree with that. This isn't the first time Cuban has indicated on the record that he believes Gary Gensler, and by extension the SEC itself, could foil Biden's second-term hopes. Cuban has long called for regulatory clarity. As Cointelegraph reported in May, Cuban called for the US CFTC to take over crypto regulation. I partly agree with that. One, they don't have the same resources that the SEC does, but they're still going to come after crypto just from a different way. So I partially agree with that. At the time, he said that crypto voters will be heard this election. Will be heard, but not make a difference yet. I think the first election, the next major election that the crypto community will have a say-so in will be 2028. Biden on crypto. Biden has reportedly begun discussions with crypto industry insiders for a potential pivot to accepting crypto donations for his campaign. This could be a too little, too late move for the president. That is true. Just like how the Democrats only come down to the black community like 2 months before election. Then all of a sudden they're in the black churches. Yeah, you could have done this 2 years ago. Otherwise, it's unclear how the incumbent plans to approach crypto as it arises during the rest of the campaign. It's possible the issue could be raised during the upcoming presidential debates. Trump on crypto. Former U.S. President Donald Trump's stance on crypto differs wildly from that of Biden's. In a complete 180-degree turn, Trump has recently offered his full-throated support for the tech. Trump has vowed to end Joe Biden's war on crypto. Again, for those who are not in the know, Joe Biden continued the same policies Trump already had. But now Trump is publicly reversing that to ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in America. Trump posted to his Truth social media network that he would safeguard the crypto industry against government infringement, and that crooked Joe Biden, on the other hand, the worst president in the history of our country, wants it to die a slow and painful death. I wonder now, okay, in the 2020 election, the Democrats got the vast majority of crypto donations. Why do you think that was? Because at the time, the Trump administration was very critical of the crypto space, and the SEC and everything had the same people when Biden became office. He didn't change anybody from the SEC side, from the enforcement side. It was the same people under Trump. So now it's being flipped. This election, which party do you think is going to get the most crypto donations? Let me ask you guys the question based on what you've seen. Now, in 2020, the Democrats got the vast majority of crypto donations right now, coming up to that election. 4 years later, 2024, which party is going to get the majority of crypto donations? Anybody have a guess? Is it be the Democrats or will it be the Republicans? In previous comments, Trump posted to his Truth social media network that he would safeguard the crypto industry against government infringement and crooked Joe Biden. You guys are quiet on that. Melanie says the Republicans. So far, it's looking like the Republicans. Judy. All right. Putin criticizes U.S. dollar's lack of gold backing, calls for alternative payment systems. Dave Winters, GOP. You guys are right. This election cycle, the Republicans, unless something surprising happens, will be getting the majority of donations. But a lot of Fortune 500 companies and people who donate, they donate to both parties. They just donate more to one than the other. So the Democrats will get something as a way to influence policy change. All right, so Putin criticizes the U.S. dollar. Russian President Vladimir Putin criticized the United States for its abandonment of the gold standard. So what now? You want to criticize something that happened like 50 years ago? Remarking in a Sputnik released video that the US dollar is now a trust-based currency without tangible backing, a decision underscored by the absence of gold evidence. What, are you just now figuring this out? But again, you got to talk about the public. How aware is the public? My own brother believed that the US dollar was backed by gold. And he's a doctor. He's an educator. He's in the know. How many of you believe that the US dollar, or how old were you when you realized that it wasn't backed by gold? When I first learned that in high school, maybe 8th grade, but high school, 1990, 89, 90s, when I realized money is not backed by gold, it's just backed on by trust. Hey, welcome back, Mike. Uh-oh. Oh, you're back in the hospital. Oh, okay, okay. Well, we're gonna pray for you, brother. Make sure you're doing good over there. So let's see. So this critique arrives during efforts by BRICS countries to diminish reliance on the US dollar. Yeah, but unfortunately, South Africa is still dealing with the US dollar. Seeking to establish an alternative payment platform to enhance trade and financial independence from the dollar, as highlighted during the Johannesburg summit in 2023. While commodities like gold and crypto are considered as alternatives, the entrenched role of the dollar in the global financial system challenges de-dollarization endeavors, though the rise of a multipolar world order suggests a shifting dynamic in global economic dominance. Okay. The state of crypto merchant adoption in 2024. That is true, Dave. My point in that he's a doctor is the fact that he continued his education to want to learn more and is still not aware of something as basic as the dollar is not backed by gold. And that just shows that even our system, education system, doesn't teach that. I remember elementary school, we learn about money, we learn about coins. What's the difference between quarters and nickels and pennies and how to add them up and what a $50 is and a $5, a 10, 50, 100. We learn all that stuff. But we don't learn about the Federal Reserve. We don't learn about the GDP. We don't learn about the debt. We don't learn about taxes. Other than that, we're supposed to pay it. Supposed to. Is it actually law? Merchants are increasing adopting cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum, reflecting a growing trend towards digital currency payments as a viable alternative to traditional means. Crypto is no longer a fringe concept, but a rapidly growing trend in the retail sector. Retail organizations are preparing for and embracing digital currency payments. When an American online retailer became the first major merchant worldwide to accept crypto as payment in 2014, it was big news. Merchant adoption of cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins have been steadily increasing in recent years, with a notable surge in 2023. The adoption of crypto by merchants has been a gradual process marked by several key milestones and challenges. In the early days of Bitcoin, from 2009 to 2012, merchant adoption was virtually non-existent due to the lack of awareness and infrastructure. The first real-world transaction involving Bitcoin occurred in 2010 when a user bought 2 pizzas. This is just insane. For 10,000 Bitcoin, now celebrated as Bitcoin Pizza Day. Between 2013 and 2016, merchant adoption started gaining traction as Bitcoin's popularity grew. Major companies like Overstock, Newegg, and Microsoft began accepting Bitcoin payments, lending credibility to cryptocurrencies. From 2017 onwards, merchant adoption accelerated as cryptos gained mainstream recognition. A survey by Deloitte in 2019 found that 85% of business leaders believed crypto would become a viable payment option, with 64% reporting significant customer interest in using digital currencies. Companies like AT&T, Home Depot, and Starbucks partner with crypto payment processors to enable crypto payments. Think about what size of the population in America does business with AT&T, Home Depot, and Starbucks. According to the merchant adoption of digital currency payments surveyed in collaboration with PayPal, 220 million people globally now use crypto, purchasing a wide range of products and services, from travel bookings to sports tickets. I actually lived off, this was one mistake I made in my early days, but between 2017 and 2019, I literally lived off crypto, off my crypto debit card. I pulled money, cash out of the ATM. I used it to pay my bills. I used it to pay for anything, dinners, restaurants, groceries. I pulled cash out and to put it cash in the bank, my bank account. Problem was, do you realize how much Bitcoin I spent during those years? Had I not spent that crypto, that's worth millions today compared. But you learn. Let's see here. This is a long article. I just want to skim this. So the theme here is that, as I said in 2017, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you trust it or not, whether you understand it or not, blockchain technology is going to disrupt every single industry. Even the job you work for, they're going to either say, we're going to pay you in digital, or we're going to start accepting payments for the product we sell. Think about it. Every job you work for is selling a product. It's got to sell something. How do they pay you? Outside of being a federal government, they sell they're in a business to sell something. This is another thing I'm going to be talking about in our expansive new ILCA, when we talk about entrepreneurship and a lot of people's fear of selling something. I'm not a salesman. I don't want to sell anything. People have a fear of selling. People don't like to ask somebody else for money. Yet, do you know that if the job you work for right now wasn't selling something, you wouldn't have a job? So instead of thinking in terms of, I have to sell something, instead be thinking of, what service can I offer or provide that people will want to buy? And when you think of it from that standpoint, you're not selling anything. People like to buy, they don't like to be sold. Keep that. That's going to be a whole nother series for ILCA lead. Or to ILCA. All right, next one up here. Ripple legal chief countered SEC allegations. No victims to compensate. Oh, now that's an interesting title there. What does the SEC and all these three-letter agencies say they're trying to do? Protect the public. We believe the public got scammed, so we need to bring them justice and compensate them. Okay, well, who are the victims of anything you're saying that Ripple has done illegal? Can you guys answer that question? Are there any victims of Ripple? Ripple scam anybody out there? Ripple's chief legal officer has countered the SEC's allegations following the crypto firm's proposal to limit its penalty to no more than $10 million. The legal officer countered allegations. Okay, the legal chief highlighted that the SEC is raging and emphasized that, unlike the Terraform Labs case, there are no victims to compensate in Ripple's case. That is true. Ripple's chief legal advisor, and that is also true what Judy said there, The victims are those who invested in Ripple from the SEC. Because of the SEC's actions, those who had invested in Ripple is still sitting on a very, very underperforming or undervalued asset. XRP should be over $10 a coin right now. At least maybe 6 or 7, double its previous all-time high, at least. If Bitcoin reached an all-time high of 20,000 at that same year, Ripple got to $3.40. What do you think Ripple should be with Bitcoin going to 73,000, 20, 40, 60? Bitcoin is more than 3 times more worth more. So if Ripple just followed suit, it should be at least between $9 to $10 a coin right now. So there's people who've been sitting and holding Ripple for years. They're the victims of the SEC. So the SEC is demanding $2 billion from Ripple. Get the F out of here. $2 billion? Alderati stated on social media platform X that the SEC is raging because Ripple has defended itself without making any concessions. He highlighted that the court has clarified that Ripple is not a security under certain conditions, that there are no victims requiring compensation. The SEC argues in its letter to the district judge Annalisa Torres on Friday that the Ripple case fundamentally differs from the Terra Labs case. The securities regulator pointed out that Terraform Labs agreed to several conditions, including the quick return of funds to victims, whereas Ripple has not agreed to similar terms. Ripple is agreeing to this relief. In fact, Ripple is agreeing to nothing. The SEC informed the district judge. The agency subsequently demanded 102 million. Okay, so then they went down from 2 billion to 102 million. The securities regulator initially sought a $2 billion penalty, and the securities watchdog alleges Ripple raised 1.3 billion through the sale of Ripple tokens, which it claims are unregistered securities. However, in a significant ruling in July 2023, Judge Torres ruled that Ripple is not a security when sold to retail investors on digital asset exchanges. That's true. Okay. SEC Chair Gary Gensler envisions U.S. spot Ether ETF launching this summer. So we have the approval. Now it's when does it actually launch? The chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler, testified before the U.S. Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Financial Services on June 13th. This hearing was part of a review of the president's fiscal year 2025 budget. He requested for the SEC and the CFTC. During the hearing, Gensler answered some questions regarding crypto and the approval of spot ETFs. Senator Bill Haggerty, Republican from Tennessee, asked him why the SEC has not fully approved spot Ether ETFs, particularly in light of a recent court ruling regarding spot Bitcoin ETFs that found the SEC's disapproval grounds unwarranted. We actually, as an agency, did approve Ethereum exchange-traded products, Gensler told Haggerty. However, the lawmaker interjected, noting that the approval was only partial. Gensler insisted that the SEC approve the filings that were in front of us for stock exchanges, adding, stock exchanges. Is that another reason why BlackRock is creating their own new stock exchange in Texas? So they just approved. He said, well, we only approved it for stock exchanges. I think there were 8 or 9 of them. Individual issuers still are working through the registration process. That's working smoothly. And I would envision sometime over the course of the summer. Okay. Haggerty also questioned Gensler regarding the agency's prioritization of resources and the establishment of constructive regulatory frameworks. You're not prioritizing staff, and you're not prioritizing rulemaking for areas that desperately need it. Here, I'm talking about setting in place a constructive set of rules of the road for the crypto industry. This is an innovative industry. It's an industry that the United States should be leading on. I agree. Yet other jurisdictions and other countries are setting up rules for their ecosystems. I agree. What was Gensler's response to that? What happens here with the SEC and the CFTC is constant roadblocks and a lack of certainty. And what's happening is that this innovative industry is finding itself increasingly pushed offshore. Haggerty is right, 100%. If the Republicans are smart, they would be running on this. They're not running on no other policy outside of Biden's evil, and we got a payback. Nah, and the border. This is the type of stuff you want to run on. You want to get people behind this because he's absolutely correct. Crypto sector secures 317 million in venture capital deals. See, I shared that one of my ultimate goals, personal goals in crypto, is to have my own $10 million investment firm, like venture capital, that I can invest in different projects coming up. 100,000 in this one, 250,000 in that one, 150,000 in that one. So even out of 10, if 9 of them fail, I only need one of them to work. That 100,000 going to end up being worth 20 million. So the space is getting 317 million they just raised in early June. With the first half of June concluded, there have been 37 venture capital deals and fundraising events in the crypto sector. Collectively, these investments total 317 million, with Avail, a modular blockchain project. So dang, this company got $43 million in investments. 37 crypto startups and projects gather 317 million. So 37 startups and projects secured 317 million in just the last 2 weeks. Avail, the modular blockchain project, has topped the list by raising 43 million in a funding round led by CyberFund, Founders Fund, and Dragonfly. Following closely, the decentralized stablecoin minting project MO raised 35 million in a series A funding round spearheaded by Bain Capital Crypto. GSR, Wintermute Ventures, and Galaxy Ventures also joined in the financing. Nexus Laboratories, specializing in zero-knowledge cryptography, came in third, securing 25 million in a Series A round, co-led by Lightspeed Venture Partners and Pantera Capital, with contributions from Dragonfly, Faction Ventures, and Blockchain Builders Fund. Other notable financing rounds included those by XREX Layer 3, Phoenix Squads, and Go Plus. The lower end of the 37 venture capital deals listed featured Nexus Network, Kiro Finance, Honeypot Finance, Star Power, and Bitball. The first half of June illustrates that the crypto market continues to attract substantial venture capital, with a diverse range of projects receiving backing from prominent investors. Okay. Then I've got here former House Speaker Paul Ryan. I'm not sure if that's Mitt Romney's company. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Paul Ryan says stable coins can help fight an upcoming U.S. debt crisis and China's growing influence. How? Stablecoins attached to the U.S. dollar. So if the U.S. dollar goes into problems, so does the stablecoins attached to it. Where's he going with this? Paul Ryan, Republican politician and former Speaker of the House. Oh, I know he's on MAGA's bad side right now. Has referred to the relevance that stablecoins might have for the future of the U.S. debt. Ryan discusses that the exploding U.S. debt, currently hovering at over $34 billion, is poised to test American experiment if politicians fail to address the increased budgetary spending. Wait a minute. Doesn't he mean 34 trillion? U.S. debt, 34 billion. That's a drop in the bucket. We just read the other day how much our U.S. defense budget is. 400 and something billion or 800 something billion. A failed Treasury auction would kickstart this crisis, forcing budgetary cuts and destroying the trust behind the U.S. dollar. A failed treasury auction. I'm not familiar with that. Would kickstart the crisis. Forcing budgetary cuts. Failed treasury. Is he meaning that outside countries buying our debt would force us to have to cut our budget? At the same time, while the dollar is still the international reserve benchmark currency, countries like Saudi Arabia and China have been shedding their treasury holdings. Oh, yeah, okay. I understand. Yeah, that's it. Other countries buying our debt. They call it a treasury auction. This is where stablecoins come in as a source of demand for treasuries and US dollars that are not driven by state nations, but by institutions and individuals in weak economies. Ryan remarked that stablecoins should be taken seriously as they would be held outside the top 10 nations owning US debt if combined. So he's saying forget about like the BRICS. If we go by the lower nations and you combine them together, and we just sell our debt to them, then we'll, I have mixed feelings on that. As an American, I understand, but then again, we're taking advantage of the poorer nations and saddling them with our debt just to maintain our lifestyle. This financial battle would also extend to international markets, Ryan states, where China seeks to embed the yuan using investment and infrastructure in emerging markets. The only problem with that is the yuan is hurting. It ain't like everybody's running to it. That's why South Africa went right back to buying US and doing business in US dollars. Promoting dollar-backed stablecoins would create an immediate, durable increase in demand for US debt. See that? See, he's looking at this from a short term. You're putting a Band-Aid on the problem. You're not fixing it. You're just prolonging it. So he's like, how do we get other countries to continue to buy our debt? Oh, let's create a stable coin that's backed by the US dollar. That doesn't change anything. In a September report titled Tether and U.S. Treasury Dynamics, the company declared that as foreign purchasing of treasuries declines and issuance of U.S. debt is slated to increase, Tether is able to help support U.S. and global financial stability. Oh, I see a lot of red flags with that. That goes back to my crypto storm is coming. I told you one of my biggest fears is a Tether collapse. Look at how much they're sitting on. $112 billion. This goes down in any kind of way, and you will see an entire crypto crash. It won't kill crypto, but it will hurt it bad, especially those that are uneducated. For me, I would see nothing but opportunity. In fact, it would be in our best interest for that to happen, but not get caught. Everything's going to crash if that happens. And you want to tie the U.S. fate to that again? The U.S. fate will bring this thing down. All right, I'm running out of time. It's time for me to do the Gifted Mind presentation. I hope you guys learned something new. As always, that's the point. Tonight, I will be doing the ILCA Elite Call. We had Father's Day yesterday, so we didn't do it last night. But we are doing it tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And that is it. I got a busy day today. See you guys in the next 5 minutes. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.